For the past year, we've heard about the challenges, stories from our biggest cities, struggles reaching those living along our country's furthest edges.
That gives them something to look forward to.
The economy is often measured in numbers and trends. But in many ways, understanding what it takes to stay open in a pandemic is impossible to measure.
When he closed in March, he was like, you know what? This is it.
This week, those who are hanging on.
It was just too many ifs.
And finding a way to rebound. This is The Race. Welcome to The Race. I'm Chris Stewart. Food and live music. Few places do those things better than New Orleans, and few industries have been hit as hard in this pandemic. And while many restaurants and live music venues did not make it through the past year, for some that are still open, they are showing the qualities that make communities like this one special: perseverance and creativity. The fabric of New Orleans. A fusion of sound and flavor, a feeling you'll only find here. And when you walk into Little Dizzy's.
And the gumbo.
Gumbo.
Definitely the gumbo.
You know you've found it.
Let's do the gumbo.
You haven't tasted fried chicken until you taste this fried chicken.
For more than half a century, Wayne Baquet has been an institution in this food town.
When you say the Baquet name in New Orleans, everybody know it.
Little Dizzy's was one of the first to reopen after Hurricane Katrina.
53 cents.
But 2020 brought a different kind of challenge.
The minute all of this set in, I decided then, because of wearing masks and my age and the time that I put in it, it's over. I'm done.
He decided to retire and close last March.
We had a buffet before. Those days is over.
You want ketchup by sauce, Steve?
Wayne's son and daughter-in-law, Keisha,
I felt very secure.
reopened Little Dizzy's in February, ready for an era focused on social distancing.
We decided let's do everything in to-go containers. So that way when a person finishes eating, their food is dumped, the table is sanitized, all chairs, whether someone sat in the chair or not.
When the pandemic hit, tourism leaders estimate the city lost more than $200 million in visitors spending a week. For Mardi Gras this year, homes were decorated like floats since COVID canceled the traditional celebrations. At one of the city's famous live music venues, Tippy Tina's. Pay-per-view virtual shows have helped keep the lights on since in-person concerts aren't allowed.
There's been, talk of, maybe you can get a few dozen people in here, that'd be nice. But there's no way for a place this big to earn enough revenue to keep that going.
They've rented out space to a coffee shop, started a record club, and have relied on government money to make it to this point.
In the long run, we'll look back and think that was a really tough time, but if we can do that, we can do anything.
And while this crisis isn't over, it isn't too soon to reflect on the journey, one that's been powered by creativity.
The Baquet family's got a lot of history.
And confidence.
But if you do it right, and when you've got the experience and the knowledge from somebody that can tell you how to do it, you can't lose.
More families than ever are experiencing homelessness because of the pandemic. In Iowa, one emergency shelter is helping the families it serves find some normalcy in their situations. Alexa Liacko shows us how Girl Scout cookies are helping make a tough time a little sweeter.
For a few hours each week, the girls of Troop 64224 get to escape.
It's the best day ever!
An afternoon of chalk art.
Is that a turtle? Uh-huh.
Tag. And Girl Scout cookies.
So these are my favorite cookies.
Right now, the only thing interrupting the fun and games are the cars of people picking up cookie orders.
Oh boy, thank you so much.
It's any little girl's dream. But even with the best dreams, we have to wake up. And these girls wake up each day without a permanent place to call home. They sleep at the Micah House in Council Bluffs, Iowa, a shelter for families experiencing homelessness.
It doesn't matter to us what brought them here. What do we need to do now to help you to get you back to being stable again?
Christina and her granddaughter Ariel called the Micah House when they desperately needed that stable place.
I never ever thought I would be one of them. Never. I had a good job, I had my own house, I had everything that I needed to survive. And I ended up losing everything.
Christina struggled with addiction, but she was getting clean and getting ready to rent an apartment. Then when COVID-19 hit, she couldn't find a job.
It's hard. It's really hard. There's things you have to have. Well, how are you going to get it if you don't have the money?
Now the Micah House is giving her the tools to get a job and an apartment.
I want to do it for Ariel. She deserves it. She's seen my husband die. She's got close to my dad and he passed away. I was in several relationships and they're gone. And it's like, I'm tired of her having losses. It's time that she starts having things for her.
Signing Ariel up for the Girl Scout troop at the shelter was Christina's first step towards that goal.
This is the happiest I've seen her in years. It's encouraging and it's teaching her, you know, to be the little girl.
And if you ask Ariel, this troop has already taught her much more than counting cookie boxes.
What would you say is one thing that you learned in Girl Scouts?
Be kind.
That's a good lesson.
But even through the moments of fun, these young children know how tough their situation is.
And will you show me what you drew over here?
A house.
The girls and their families here face what thousands of families across the country do.
They were already just working paycheck to paycheck, and that one little stop was all that it took for them to need to come in.
The Micah House has gotten more calls than usual this year. Nonprofit Economic Roundtable estimates without significant help, 600,000 more people will experience homelessness over the next 2 years because of the pandemic. That's twice the number caused by the 2008 recession. Christina wants to break that cycle for her family.
I'm very hopeful. I'm going to get that apartment. I'm going to get that job. I have to be here for her and let her see what we can do together. I love you.
Because with your troop by your side, even the bitter chapters of life are a little bit sweeter. For The Race, I'm Alexa Liacko.
How beercations could help save a man's small business. Next on The Race.